Hey everybody, see I'm going to make this come out just a bit wider here. There we go. So, a quick tip today is on these fellas, border punches, and how you can make, how you're to read these and that kind of thing. So I've got 3 different types here. I'm just going to jump right into it. On these type, I always put my paper right to the edge where that I know I'm starting, you know, I have a same starting spot on every one of them that I do. So this one particularly, let me get a corresponding color here. Solid color paper, here we go. So this one does one, with each punch it does one whole section of what it, you know, it gives you just one, yeah. Anyway, so you got it. So you're going to move this out to line up with the pattern. And you're going, this is really where you want to take a moment and really get it lined up. You want to make sure it's lined up this way and this way, and this way and this way. And then once you get it lined up, you also want to make sure that this edge of the paper is all the way in against the stopper along the back. And then you're going to hold on to it until you get this cutting into the paper, and then you can move your fingers off this paper, and that's going to give you a perfect transition to the next pattern. So you have your first pattern and then you have your second pattern, and you have a perfect transition. You see where these make half the triangle? Well, you have a nice triangle and your points are even and that kind of thing. So there's no, you don't see any transition in there. And then we're going to do the other side, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line up both this way and this way, this way and this way. So north, south, east, and west, I guess, is, and sometimes it's quite, sometimes it actually requires you from pulling this off of the stopper. If you have this on the stopper and it's not lining up, it means your paper is not squared to go along this. But your primary objective is to line this up. And I think that's where a lot of people make their mistake, is they just, they don't do this. They don't give this portion of what you're doing enough time. And so there we go. We have a beautiful, can't tell the transitions, anything. Now this one is really fairly simple because you just get one part of the oh my gosh, do you think I could think of the word? Of the embellishment. You get just one part per push. Now you go to, let me get this out of the way. You go to some of these different ones. Now, so this is the Martha Stewart one, you know, one of the Martha Stewart ones, but all of them are going to work the same in this. Now let's take the Fiskars ones. Now this one I tend to center. Now, when you're looking, these 2 lines right here, this is your cut area. Oh, I got it. These 2 lines right here, that is your cut area, okay? You're going to center this out. You're going to make sure that both sides, that the paper is fully into the stopper, up to the stoppers. You're going to leave your fingers on the paper until you really get a hold of the paper, and then you can release that. I'm going to pull it here's your cut marks. I'm going to pull it straight out so you can see that it's cut right in between those two lines. It's centered in between those two lines. So that just gives you an idea of your cut area. Now this one gives you three patterns for one cut. Okay? And there's 2 patterns out on either side, which means one of these patterns will remain in this area here when you're cutting your new, to extend out the pattern so that the transition will be that way. So when you've got this pulled out here, you know that you're going to pull out to the 2. Make sure your paper is up against the stoppers, and you're going to really take a moment and make sure that both north, south, east, and west is lime green. You're going to hold the paper until this gets pushed into the paper where you know you're starting to cut it, and then you can take your hand off. If you take your hand off, this is liable to move prior to the cut. Now, I still have more to cut to finish up this section. So if I just pull out a couple and line it up, well, I don't know. I only need one of these left under here, and I just pulled out a couple and started lining them up. That's putting this one in jeopardy of not getting cut correctly or not being left alone. Okay? So what I want to do when I finish cutting is I want to pull it out, and I want to put my paper here and slide until I've got one underneath this cutting, and then take the next 2 and line them up. Okay, that makes sure that I'm getting just the one extra in here, and then the area that needs to get cut. So then I will have a good transition. So here you see no differences in the cuts, no crisscrosses, you know, nothing that's doesn't look like it's absolutely perfect. Okay, so now I want to continue on and cut this side. So I'm going to put my page against the stopper here, and I'm going to slide it in until this first one is underneath this section of the cutter, which means this one and this one is going to, so 2 and 3 are going to line up with the pattern on the cutter, on the punch here. And then I'm using my finger to hold down this piece of paper and making sure that I've got everything lined up and that I see no blue and I just see the green. So, and I've got this pushed in. Now I'm going to take and start the cut, then I can release, and I've got a perfect transition again. Let me just do this one more time. I'm going to put the paper up here. I'm going to make this first one go underneath, and this second and third one are going to get lined up. So right there. Make sure the paper is against this and everything gets lined up. Now this is north, south, east, and west, but you're also dealing with this really loose piece of paper here. And, you know, so nothing's really connected except for the part that you're cutting. So you really want to make sure that you're getting it all just correct on there. And then you've got it done. And there, you've got no missed marks on there. Everything is just right. So that's how you use these on the Fiskars. And the same thing goes, this is EK Success. They're also Stamping Up, that kind of thing. Let me get another piece of paper here. something that's going to show up nicely. Sorry, I'm looking through some scraps I've got here. This will work. Okay. So again, I'm just kind of centering it out, making sure everything's against the stopper and pushing that. And again, I'm getting 4 of these triangles left in here. So I am going to want to have 1 of these still in the cutting area and 3 of these lined up with this outside cutting area. So that's what I'm going to do. And it's a little more difficult to find the triangles in this little space, but you really need to make sure that you're getting all of that in the proper alignment, and then move on. And see now I've got no uncut ridges, nothing. Everything is just really nice. So that's, again, we're going to do the same thing. I want this one underneath the cutting area, and then the next 3. So this is 2, 3, and 4 in the line. 2, 3, and 4 are going to line up with this one, and this one. If you can see that. There's 1, 2, 3 out here. Oops. This first dot here is going to go underneath the cutter. So I'm going to slide that underneath. And then the next 3 are what going to line up in, let me get it lined up here. Okay, so then all I can see is this, I'm trying to get it, I don't know if I can, all I can see is the silver. I can see no dark brown or dark gray, whatever you want to call this color. So that's what I'm looking for when I'm doing this. And I'm going to push it again. And so you just sew on and you keep going until you're done. But that's how these work. You want to take your time, and you'll get a good cut every time by doing it this way. So I just wanted to give you a quick tip on how you could read these. One other thing is, say you had a little strip here. I have this little strip, and I want to do these guys on both sides. So you're going to start this little strip right at the edge. Okay? So you're going to start this little strip right at the edge. And you're going to make sure it's against there, and you're going to pop that sucker. And I'm going to make sure one of them's underneath. And we're going to get these all lined up. Make sure the paper's against the stoppers. Okay. Then, I don't know if there's actually big enough room enough on this. I'm going to start this again right at the edge. I don't know if there's actually enough room on this one. Oh yeah. And so I'm punching it again. Now it's cutting off the little triangles, which is fine. So I have the 4 patterns. So I'm going to have 1, 2, and 3 left in this yeah, because that's a partial one. Wait a minute. Yes. So we're going to do this, lay these up in this pattern. Okay. And now you can see that I've actually created a totally different, you remove both of these. Now that is a totally different design from what I was doing. And they're absolutely perfectly even coming together there to make the pattern, because I started on the same spot on this direction and this direction. Oh, there you can see it a little better. There you can see the pattern. So really really cool patterns. So get these puppies out again and play around with them. Some people don't use them because they don't know how. So I thought I'd give you a quick lesson. I hope this helps you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.